right, everybody, welcome back for another deep dive. You ready to unearth some serious travel hacks?
Always ready to save some money, especially when it comes to travel.
Especially these days, am I right? So today we're going to unlock the secret to finding incredible hotel deals, specifically in Japan.
Ooh, Japan.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a good one. A place where knowing the language and the lay of the land can make a huge difference in your budget.
Exactly. And the best part, we're going to do this using a tool that's probably already in your pocket, Google Maps.
No way I use Google Maps all the time, but mostly just for like directions.
Me too, but get this, our source for this deep dive. A YouTube video by Sandy and Paul from the channel Dom.
Okay,
Right.
little piggy keeper for us non-Mandarin speakers.
Right. They had some seriously mind-blowing tips on how to use Google Maps features to find those hidden gem hotels without breaking the bank.
I'm intrigued already, so spill the beans. What's the first travel hack?
Okay, so they recommend starting your search with a familiar landmark or a transportation hub.
Makes sense.
Mhm.
You know, when you arrive in a new city, especially one as busy as Tokyo, you want to feel grounded.
Totally. And being near a major station, like they suggest, Tokyo Station usually means easy access to public transport, which is key for exploring.
Yeah, you don't want to waste precious vacation time trying to figure out the bus system or getting lost in the subway.
No way! So how do we put this Google Maps magic into action?
It's pretty simple. Actually open up Google Maps and type in your chosen landmark like you normally would, but instead of looking for directions, you're going to tap that hotel's icon.
Ah, I see. So it's like you're telling Google Maps, hey, I want to stay near here. Show me my options.
Exactly. And now here's where the real magic happens.
Okay.
You got to use that filter tool.
Okay, honestly, I'm usually guilty of skipping over the filters.
Don't worry, most of us do. But seriously, this is where you refine your search. Think about it. You can instantly narrow down the options to only hotels that are in your budget, with glowing reviews and all within a short walk of Tokyo Station.
Okay, now that's what I'm talking about. No more endless scrolling through hundreds of hotels.
Yeah. Right. And another thing Sandy and Paul brought up that I'd never really considered before is that hotel star ratings aren't actually standardized across the board.
Wait, really? So like a 3-star hotel on one website might be a 4-star on another?
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's no global system, which makes a tool like Google Maps even more useful because it pulls information from so many different sources.
So you're getting a more balanced view, not just one website's opinion.
Precisely. All right, so we've got our filter set, we've got a good list of hotels, but how do we choose the perfect one? You know, the one that's not only affordable, but also super convenient.
Okay, they have this awesome trick for that. It's all about the mouse over. You ready for this?
Hit me with it.
Instead of clicking on a hotel to see how long it takes to walk there, you just hover your cursor over the location.
Okay, so like I'm window shopping for hotels, got it.
Exactly. This keeps the walking route visible on the map so you can quickly compare distances between different hotels and, in this case, Tokyo Station.
Makes sense. You just gotten off a long flight. The last thing you want is to drag your luggage from miles to get to your hotel.
You're telling me I'm all about maximizing convenience, especially after traveling.
Me too. It's all about making those first few hours in a new city as smooth and stress-free as possible.
I couldn't agree more. Okay, so we've mastered the art of finding conveniently located hotels near landmarks using Google Maps. But what about when you have a packed itinerary and you want to be in the heart of the action?
That's where things get even more interesting. Sandy and Paul had a brilliant strategy for that too, and it involves one of my favorite Google Maps features.
Oh, tell me more. I'm always up for a Google Maps deep dive.
It's called My Maps, and it lets you create a custom map with all the sites, restaurants, and shops you want to visit during your trip.
Wait, hold on. So you're saying you can basically visualize your entire itinerary on Google Maps?
You got it. And this is where it gets really powerful.
Yeah.
Imagine you're going to Tokyo and you're dying to explore those trendy neighborhoods like Shinjuku and Harajuku.
Oh, I love those areas. So much style and energy.
Yeah. Right? Sandy used My Maps to pinpoint all the spots she wanted to hit up in those areas. Cafes, vintage shops, you name it. And then, get this, after she mapped out her itinerary, she activated the hotel search filter again.
Whoa, so instead of showing you hotels near a single landmark, it overlays potential hotels right on top of your custom itinerary map.
Boom, you got it.
Okay, that's next level. And it really highlights how Google Maps can be so personalized. Travel isn't one size fits all.
I love that it's all about tailoring the trip to your unique interests and making sure you're spending your time and money on the things that matter most to you.
Absolutely. And this just gave me an idea. If I'm a major foodie and my itinerary is all about those must-try restaurants, I
Right.
can use this technique to find a hotel that's within walking distance of all those culinary hotspots.
Precisely. Or maybe you're a history buff and you want to be steps away from all the museums and historical sites.
Yeah, exactly. This is blowing my mind. It's like having a personalized travel agent, but one that doesn't charge a commission.
Exactly. And the best part is, you don't need to be a tech whiz to do this. Sandy and Paul have shown us that Google Maps, a tool most of us already use, can be a game changer for travel planning.
It's all about thinking outside the box and realizing the power of this tool that's often right there in our pockets.
So true. And I think the biggest takeaway here is that it's about empowering travelers to take control of their itineraries, find those hidden gems, and ultimately have more fulfilling and enjoyable trips.
I couldn't agree more. And, as we were talking about these tips, I kept thinking back to something Sandy and Paul mentioned briefly. They talked about using this Google Maps strategy for European road trips.
Oh, yes. I remember that I was already picturing myself winding through the Italian countryside, using Google Maps to discover those charming little villages.
Exactly. Imagine you're driving through Tuscany and you're trying to decide which route to take, which villages to stop, and which vineyards to visit.
Instead of just relying on a predetermined route or a guidebook, you could use Google Maps to map out all the potential points of interest along different routes.
And then, based on what you're most interested in, maybe it's stunning views, or maybe it's those family-run trattorias, you choose the route that best fits your travel style.
It's like turning Google Maps into your own personal travel guide, curated specifically for your interests. And who knows what you might discover along the way. Maybe a hidden hiking trail with breathtaking vistas, or a local cheesemaker that's not even listed in the guidebooks.
I love that you're not just following someone else's itinerary, you're creating your own adventure.
Exactly. And that's what travel should be about, right? Exploring, discovering, and embracing the unexpected.
Couldn't agree more. All right, folks, we've gone deep into the world of Google Maps, and with the help of Sandy and Paul's insights, we've uncovered its hidden potential as a travel planning powerhouse.
It's simple, it's intuitive, and it puts the power right in your hands to create the trips of your dreams.
So our challenge to you, dear listener, is this: the next time you're planning a trip, whether it's a weekend getaway or a grand European adventure, open up Google Maps and start exploring.
Who knows what hidden gems you might uncover. Happy travels.
So we've got our potential hotels all lined up, near that landmark or station. But how do we really know if they're going to live up to the hype?
Right, because those glossy photos on hotel websites can be deceiving sometimes.
Oh, tell me about it. So this is where Sandy and Paul really emphasize the power of Google Maps reviews. And honestly, I think this is where it truly shines.
I agree. Because with Google Maps, you're getting those unfiltered, authentic experiences from fellow travelers, not just the perfectly staged shots.
Exactly. You get to see the rooms, the amenities, the breakfast buffet, even from a real person's perspective.
It's like having a friend give you the inside scoop before you book.
Right. Or like in my case, it's like avoiding that disappointment when you show up and the pool's the size of a bathtub.
Oh no, you've been there, haven't you?
Yeah, learned that lesson the hard way. But that's why I love those real user photos on Google Maps. They help you spot the things you might not catch otherwise.
Absolutely. Like maybe there's a conveniently placed power outlet by the bed, or you can see if the bathroom's actually as clean as they claim.
Yeah, and sometimes those less than perfect photos are the most helpful.
Totally. Like Sandy and Paul showed this hilarious user photo in their video. It was this blurry, almost sad-looking picture of the breakfast buffet.
But you know what? That kind of honesty is refreshing. It sets realistic expectations.
Right. You're not getting tricked by fancy marketing. You're seeing the real deal.
Okay, so we've mastered finding hotels near landmarks using Google Maps reviews. But what if you've got a packed itinerary and you want to be right in the thick of things?
Oh, that's where it gets even more interesting. They had this brilliant strategy for that too. And it involves one of my favorite Google Maps features.
Oh, I'm all ears. Tell me more.
It's called My Maps. And it lets you create a custom map with all the sites, restaurants, shops, everything you want to hit up during your trip.
Hold on, so you're saying I can visualize my entire itinerary on Google Maps?
Exactly. And it's super powerful.
Yeah.
Imagine you're going to Tokyo. You want to explore those trendy neighborhoods like Shinjuku and Harajuku.
Oh man, I love those areas. So much energy and style.
All right, so Sandy used My Maps to pinpoint all the spots she wanted to visit. Those cool cafes, vintage shops, you name it. And get this, after she mapped out her whole itinerary, she activated the hotel search filter again.
Oh, so instead of just showing hotels near a landmark, it overlays those potential hotels right on top of your custom itinerary map.
You got it.
That is next level. And it really ties into the idea that travel should be personalized. There's no one-size-fits-all approach.
Exactly. It's about tailoring the trip to your interests, making sure you're spending your time and money on the things that matter most to you.
So, like, if I'm a total foodie and my itinerary is all about those must-try restaurants, I can use this to find a hotel that's within walking distance of all those culinary hotspots.
Precisely. Or maybe you're all about the museums and historical sites. You can make sure you're right in the heart of the action.
It's just blowing my mind. It's like having a personalized travel agent, but without the fees.
Exactly. And, the best part is it's all about using a tool that most of us already have, Google Maps. They've just shown us how to unlock its true potential for travel planning.
Right. It's about being a savvy traveler and using the resources we have to create those dream trips.
And ultimately, I think it's about empowering travelers to take control of their itineraries, find those hidden gems, and have those more fulfilling and enjoyable experiences.
I couldn't agree more. As we were talking about all these tips, I kept thinking back to something Sandy and Paul mentioned briefly. They talked about using this Google Maps strategy for European road trips.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. I was already picturing myself cruising through the Italian countryside, using Google Maps to discover those charming little villages.
Exactly. Imagine you're driving through Tuscany and you're trying to decide which route to take, which villages to stop, and which vineyards to visit.
And instead of just following a predetermined route or sticking to a guidebook, you could use Google Maps to plot out all the potential points of interest along different routes.
And then, based on what you're really into, maybe it's stunning views or those amazing family-run trattorias, you pick the route that fits your travel style.
It's like turning Google Maps into your own personalized travel guide curated just for you.
I love that you're not just on someone else's itinerary, you're creating your own adventure.
Precisely. And who knows what you might discover along the way. Maybe it's a hidden hiking trail with breathtaking views or a local cheesemaker that's not even in the guidebooks.
Right. It's all about embracing the unexpected and finding those unique experiences that make a trip truly memorable.
And that's what makes travel so exciting.
Yeah.
Right? Those serendipitous moments of things you didn't plan for, but end up being the highlight of your trip.
Couldn't agree more. All right, folks. We've gone deep into the world of Google Maps, and thanks to Sandy and Paul's insights, we've seen how this everyday tool can be a total game changer for travel planning.
It's simple. It's intuitive, and it puts the power in your hands to create those dream vacations.
So our challenge to you, dear listener, is this next time you're planning a trip, big or small, open up Google Maps and start exploring.
Who knows what hidden gems you might find. Happy travels.
I mean, it's kind of mind-blowing, right? How much you can do with Google Maps these days?
But seriously, you think you know a tool, and then bam, turns out it's a whole travel planning powerhouse just waiting to be unlocked.
Totally. And the thing is, Sandy and Paul didn't even introduce any super complicated hacks or features.
Why? It's all stuff that's right there in Google Maps.
Exactly. They just helped us see it in a new way. It's like they shifted our perspective.
Absolutely. And I think that's so valuable for travelers because it's really about taking control of your itinerary and finding those hidden gems that make a trip special.
Speaking of those hidden gems, I kept thinking back to something they mentioned briefly about using this strategy for European road trips.
Oh yeah, me too. I was already picturing myself driving through the Italian countryside, stopping at those charming little villages along the way.
Right. Imagine you're cruising through Tuscany, trying to decide which route to take, which villages to explore, which vineyards to visit.
Instead of just relying on a preset route or a guidebook, you could use Google Maps to plot out all those potential points of interest, along different routes.
And then based on what you're most interested in, maybe it's breathtaking views or those authentic family-run trattorias, you just pick the route that speaks to you.
It's like you said before, turning Google Maps into your own personalized travel guide.
Exactly. And who knows what you might stumble upon along the way. Maybe a hidden hiking trail or a local cheesemaker that you wouldn't have found otherwise.
I love that idea. It's not just about following someone else's itinerary. It's about creating your own adventure.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So there you have it, folks. We've gone deep into the world of Google Maps, and thanks to Sandy and Paul's brilliant tips, we've uncovered its true potential as a travel planning superstar.
It's simple, it's intuitive, and most importantly, it puts the power in your hands to create the trips of your dreams.
So our challenge to you, dear listener, is this the next time you're planning a trip, whether it's a quick weekend getaway or that epic European adventure, fire up Google Maps and start exploring.
You never know what hidden gems you might uncover.
Yeah.
Happy travels, everyone.
谢谢收看。健康生活，关心您的生活健康。请订阅、点赞及转传。